New developments in the House committee's investigation into the Capitol insurrection. In a court filing, the panel claims that former President Trump and his allies may have been part of a criminal conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa is following this for us. Robert, good morning. Can you tell us more about John Eastman and his memo? Because as we understand it, this court filing was sort of directed at Eastman to get him to cooperate.
That's exactly right. This is a significant development, and it can be traced back to when Bob Woodward and I, for our book Peril, found this Eastman memo, a two-page, six-part document, essentially a blueprint for a coup, as many people have described it in recent months. And what you now see in the January 6th Select Committee on Capitol Hill is a new focus on Eastman, President Trump, the former president, and how they coordinated a pressure campaign on Vice President Pence. And they now state for the first time that they believe there could have been a criminal conspiracy spearheaded by Trump and Eastman in the final days ahead of January 6th.
So explain to our viewers what they mean by conspiracy. I've seen some legal analysts suggesting that because former President Trump was actively trying to overturn the election, that may be where his legal jeopardy lies.
It's a federal crime to commit fraud against the United States. And there has long been a guess among reporters that this could be the direction the committee is going, that former President Trump, by saying the election was stolen, was essentially defrauding the American people. He was presenting evidence that wasn't accurate in the eyes of the committee. He was calling for alternate electors to be proposed so that Congress could not certify the election for Biden, but push the election potentially into the House where Trump could win. All these efforts that were put forward by Trump, by Eastman, by other Trump allies who were at the Willard Hotel on January 5th, as has been widely reported. All of this, the committee appears to be concluding, could be criminal, fraud against the United States. That's the conspiracy, though ultimately it will be up to the Department of Justice to make a final decision on how this is all a crime or not.
Well, that's what I was just going to bring up. The thing about it is the committee can make a suggestion, but the DOJ has to determine whether or not it wants to go forward. So do we have any inkling as to whether or not the DOJ would be interested in moving forward with a criminal case? I mean, it would be a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the key question, and Attorney General Merrick Garland has been pretty tight-lipped about his own grand jury investigation into the riot at the Capitol last year. But what you do see is a development on Capitol Hill that matters because it is quite rare for the Congress to state publicly and through a select committee that they believe a former president and some of his allies might have committed crimes. Whether this ends up with a formal criminal referral to the Department of Justice, we shall see. They're going to have hearings in the coming months. Ultimately, they will publish a report. But now they're at least stating for the first time what they believed happened, that it was possibly a conspiracy that could lead to criminal charges.
Yeah, and Robert, you bring up a good point. Lawmakers don't have the power to bring charges. They can only make that referral to the Department of Justice, and now it's up to Merrick Garland whether or not he chooses to move forward. The question I have is, with the midterms looming, what's the timeline that you're hearing from the committee members as to when we can expect to see hearings and perhaps even see a report?
It's complicated because there are so many ongoing lawsuits, litigation. For example, this Eastman filing comes because there's a civil lawsuit going on in California about whether Eastman should cooperate. Eastman's lawyer told CBS News last night that he's going to fight this, that he's not happy, that this is a civil case that's now involving some kind of criminal accusation on the congressional side. And so all this is being fought in the courts. Steve Bannon's been indicted by the Department of Justice for refusing his congressional subpoena, refusing to comply. So as the committee moves forward with hearings potentially in April, in May, and a report by June, July, or August, they're also simultaneously fighting in the courts. So it's quite difficult for the committee members. My sources close to the committee say they're hustling, they're doing the best they can, but they're not finding total cooperation, to say the least.
All right, Robert Costa reporting from us, as always, from Washington. Robert, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thank you.